So jalapenos,
poblanos,
the dark
so you get
skin.
it nice, rich, but not too spicy, and then the
this
tangy
funny little
tomatillas.
thing that people are afraid to buy, by the way, because they don't have a clue.
Well, I mean, what do you
this
do with
is.
that, right?
Yeah, you peel it, and then you make salsa
And then you
verde.
make salsa. They're actually quite sticky, so when you're peeling a lot, you may have to rinse them or wash your hands off, but it's really not a big deal, and then you can roast these. But the first thing that you want to do for these enchiladas is poach some chicken. So we have two bone-in, skin-on chicken breasts. You just get a lot more flavor if you do it on the bone, and the skin
So
sort
just
of
poach
protects
them
it
in
a
water
little.
to cover.
Water, a quarter of an onion, a clove of garlic, and just a little bit of salt.
And I love poached chicken.
So you have to be really careful when you're poaching chicken. You know this, that you want to make sure that it doesn't overcook. So you cover it with cold water, bring it up to a boil, reduce to a simmer, and it should take about 18 minutes or so, but very, very carefully. And then remove it and let it cool, and then you have this beautiful poached chicken that's perfectly cooked. You shred that up. If you want to shred that, basically what we need to do here is just take this 1.5 pounds of tomatillas.
Do you shred with your fingers generally?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use 2 forks, but I find it a little bit awkward, and it's a little more efficient to do it with your hands.
Yeah.
So,
and you can pick out any of the little things
exactly.
you don't want.
You feel the stuff that you don't want. So all of this goes in the oven. 1.5 pounds of tomatillas, poblano, the jalapeno. It's the broiler actually for 10 to 12 minutes. Just make sure you rotate it once so
you're
they
kind
cook
of
evenly.
roasting them, getting them a little
charred. So you'll see when we go over there, they're nice and charred.
And I love pulling pork. I love pulling chicken.
Well, I mean, it is kind of satisfying, right? So then into your chicken, you just put a little bit of cilantro, half a cup. We're flavoring things as we go along. I'm going to bring this down here to the other end of the table. And that's just ready for filling. Here we have the already roasted tomatillas and peppers.
Any salt and pepper going here?
No, this is going to get seasoned. There's salt in the cheese, so I don't think you really need to. I mean, you could, of course. There's no saying no to seasoning, in my opinion.
So these go
So these just go right in there. We need to peel them, though.
Oh, yeah. Let me peel off the char.
The chili. Now, if you want them less spicy, you could take the seeds out. Completely depends on your taste. Jalapenos have a tendency to be varying in spice, so you might want to taste them if you're concerned at all.
Sometimes too hot.
Sometimes really, really hot, which is surprising, and sometimes basically no spice at all.
The poblano, you take all those seeds out.
Those are kind of big, so I would take those out. And, you know, I like a lot of spice, but...
But I like rubbing the skin off with paper towel rather than putting them under water.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like... A lot of people rinse their
Well, that rinses all the flavor away, doesn't it?
Well, I think it does, but
That's
many
what
people...
you taught me anyway.
I know. I think I made that up because people are still rinsing everything, rinsing.
Well, you know, it makes it easier. This is much more laborious, but...
Not that much.
Well, I think people find that it is a little bit laborious for them.
So then you don't have to dirty your sink, Sarah.
I totally agree. You have to wash that. So this gets all blended up. Cup and a half cilantro goes in there with it.
What about the tomatillas?
Yep, those go in too.
All whole like this, or should I take that little core out?
I don't think you have to. I think it's okay because it's getting blended. I have 3/4 of a cup of liquid that I saved from poaching the chicken. That's going in there too. If you wanted it vegetarian.
Juice. Don't you want the juice?
Everything should go in.
Yeah.
And then it gets nice and blended. The great thing about this enchilada is that it's kind of a lightened up version. There's very little cheese in it. There's no sour cream layered in, just a tiny bit on the end.
My favorite.
Well, you know, you can put it on at the end, and we do definitely serve it with a little. What I'm doing here is just making these tortillas a little bit more pliable by heating them in a pan, a few seconds per tortilla. And, you know, when they're cold, they're really stiff, and when they're warm, they're nice and pliable.
And just do this by my
fingers? A little bit of chicken, a little bit of that cheese, about 2 tablespoons. Oh, wait, you know what I forgot to tell you?
No, what?
Sorry. You're supposed to dip these
in the sauce.
In the sauce.
Salsa. Well, where's the salsa?
It's right here. We're making it.
We
didn't make it yet. All right. My fault. Now it's made.
Okay, we're going to have one without.
One without. That's okay. Here. You know, I'm just too into heating the tortillas.
Okay.
Okay, so you're supposed to dip it in there.
Yes, like this.
And then you do the meat.
Okay.
And the cheese, and you put it in, and then the rest of the salsa goes on top.
Makes
and then what
sense.
happens over here is after you bake it at 375 for about 20 minutes, it gets nice and heated through. And then you can sprinkle a little bit of white onion on the top.
So you can do more than one layer if you want.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this however you want. You can multiply this. You can, you know, feel free to do whatever you want. This is your sour cream. We're making it a little bit like a crema. which is looser than a traditional American sour cream. So we're thinning it with the sour cream with a little bit of water. If you have access to crema, just go ahead and use that. So here it is, nice and done and delicious, heated through. You could hold this in the refrigerator for a little while, but not too long because it might get a little bit soggy.
No, I don't want any onions on mine.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like raw onion that much either, but it's up to you. You could also put a little more fresh cilantro on here if you want.
I want more salsa. The salt. Oh.
If you were making salsa and you wanted to make it vegetarian and use it as a dip, use water instead of the chicken broth.
But I'll tell you, your family will love this. It is really, really tasty.